And that's how it's done. With a Bear Grylls fire starter. So I've watched a YouTube tutorial, and I'm holding my giant knife. I've watched 2 YouTube tutorials, and I'm gonna try and instruct James to do what I watched. Now, there's no guarantee this is gonna work because I just found a couple sticks in my backyard, which is where we are. You might hear some kids in the background. We live next to a school. It's all good and fun. So we're starting, it's 10:52. We're gonna kind of time this and just see how long we can even like get like something. So here we're gonna do the bow method. So we've got a bent piece of wood with some string, a cedar plank with a notch cut out, and this thing. I don't know all the terminology. When you're stuck in the wilderness, James, you're not gonna need to know that one of these is called a hearth or whatever.
Right.
So let's see what we can do. Okay, so the guy in the YouTube channel, the YouTube video, said that it should like want to pop out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Here, why don't I hold this? We've been trying it for 10 minutes-ish.
At least 30 seconds or more.
And the consensus is
junk.
Stupid. So we got this next thing, this piece of bamboo.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go to the same hole.
Yeah.
Into the wood. And we're gonna do like this, the old like Bushman back and forth.
This is how they do it in the cartoons. Oh, look at that, it's starting to flame up already.
Really?
No.
Okay, so it's 11 o'clock now. We're gonna try alternating just to get some momentum here. So by the way, today's question is, why does God send people to hell? It's a big question. James, we see smoke. Let me see if I can get close to see that. Look at that. Did you see that?
I did.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna do it. We are going to do it.
My childhood dreams come true. Oh no.
Oh no, it started to really rain. It's like a relatively sunny, cloudy day, but there's a rainbow right here, which is double rainbow actually. But
let's come to the conclusion that if it hadn't rained and if we were younger and healthier, we would have had fire out of this.
We saw smoke.
We saw smoke.
There was smoke. And we're gonna try another method, still using sticks, but not something we're gonna kill our hands, hopefully. So we're trying the bamboo and the wood. I've been going hard at it for about 5 minutes and I'm already sweating like a pig. So,
beads of sweat.
But this is the idea. But you can see smoke on this one too. Look at, there's smoke. I'm telling you. This is gonna happen.
Oh, so close.
Come on.
Oh.
It's not easy. When you start to see the smoke, you have to push hard and go harder. And that's when you get really tired. I'm taking a break. James is going now. You just gotta go hard.
What?
And then when you see smoke, go really hard. And then push hard. I see smoke, push hard. Keep going.
I can't.
I don't know if the GoPro's picking that up or not.
All right, so I'm calling it here that because we saw smoke and because it's put a nice dent in this bamboo stick, a nice maybe 45-degree angle, that it is possible, if this were life and death and you could keep doing it, it is very possible that you could create fire because we saw smoke. So it's much better than the bow, but look, I'm sweating. So this is not rain, that's a sweat. So James, I'm calling it. It's possible. But James, if you're stuck outside in the wilderness, your plane just crashed or your boat just got marooned on an island, and you have these fancy looking reading glasses, do you think they would start a fire in the hot sun?
Absolutely.
Oh gosh, look at that. I got a blister from the wood.
That's nuts. This is a surefire approach to...
Wait, we need the lint.
Here we go.
Ooh, you're getting there. All right, so the glasses didn't work. Well, maybe they will, but we've resorted to the magnifying. We're just seeing if the sun actually does it, but we're seeing smoke. We would not. Well, maybe we would. We might fare well in a survival situation. Trying a new way here, but putting the knife on there so it doesn't blow away. But we're getting lots of smoke, but
lots of smoke. We had some like hints of flame.
Getting a little closer in here. Now that it's, oh, I can really smell it now. Dryer lint works amazing. Now let's try something. I got my trusty Bear Grylls fire starter. Now this is almost a surefire way. You've got your flint and starter. So if you hold this,
yeah,
I think what you do is you run this down and get some flint.
Whoa!
See that?
It just sparks.
This is like the same stuff that's in like a lighter. Oh, there we go. You gotta push real hard. Really hard.
Whoa!
Look at that!
Flames!
And that's how it's done. With a Bear Grylls fire starter. Speaking on survival, there's this whole question out there about heaven and hell and how do you survive those things. But someone asked us, does God really send people to hell? And we want to give an answer that has a couple of options, because while it might sound like an easy answer to just give you, it might not be such an easy answer just to throw it out there because of the different perspectives. And so the first thing that we come to with an answer, does God send people to hell? Well, we have choice. We have personal choice in our lives to move closer to God or move away from God. And so because we have that choice, the first answer could be, maybe God doesn't even really send people to hell. Maybe the opportunity is for us to choose where we go based on the offerings that God has for us. Now, that's one side of the coin. We're going to talk about another side of the coin that is maybe kind of out there, but it's very talked about, and we want to give that as an opportunity for you to hear that.
So yeah, there's a couple of things to unpack in that question, right? One is that many Christians believe that it's not actually God condemning us, but He's just letting us have our choice, right? If we live a life where we want absolutely nothing at all to do with God our whole lives, then why would it be pleasing to us to go to heaven, which by definition is eternity in the presence of God, right? I want nothing to do with God here. Why would I want to spend the eternity of my afterlife with Him, right? So from that perspective, the theology is that God just simply gives us what we want in the end, right? We either want God in our lives or we don't, and so that impacts our eternity, our afterlife. Another Christian perspective is, for some, and it's straight up, no, it's just this is God's wrath, right? For much like a parent would put a disobedient child on timeout, kind of idea. So that's another perspective. Another very controversial one that Aaron alluded to is this idea that's kind of known as universalism, right? Or this idea that that ultimately God draws all of us into heaven, accepts everyone in. That again is a very controversial perspective, but it is a Christian perspective that has been in existence for as long as the church has been, right? So that's another thing to consider. Yeah, then I think the other piece to consider as well is there's some debate over, is it really an eternal consequence that we spend eternity in hell because of the choices we made in life, or is there opportunity even in the afterlife to repent, to turn back towards God, and to move, transition, sort of move closer to heaven through that. Those are all those are all big theological concepts and ideas, and there's all kinds of, people a lot smarter than Aaron and I have been debating these for centuries, right? Ultimately we won't know until we get there, right?
So here's the thing. Whether you want to believe that hell doesn't exist, whether you want to believe that hell is a real place of eternal torment forever because you or someone else didn't accept Jesus, whether you maybe want to believe that every single person gets drawn into heaven whether they like it or not, is another thing. Here's what James and I want to tell you is we don't know the answer. These are all these things that are talked about, and these are popular theological standpoints on hell. Here's the one thing that we do know is, for us, it's worth moving towards Jesus than away. And that's what really we want to talk about, because whatever happens when we move away from Jesus probably isn't the ideal thing. And we don't know. But for me, it's that's a life that I want to live. I don't really want to know what happens if I move away from Jesus. And so I have consciously chosen, whether I have a hard time believing in God or not, I have consciously chosen that my life is going to gravitate towards Jesus, because I think it pays off in the end, however that is. So for me, it's kind of the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, for me, I'm really not all that concerned about the afterlife, right? Again, I'm always very focused on the here and now, and the gospel, the good news that Jesus brought was also for the here and now, right? So we can again look at these concepts of heaven and hell as a sort of spiritual afterlife, but we can also apply them as a metaphor for our lives here on earth, right? And so again, before I came to Christ, my life was a living hell, right? I was trapped in addiction and alcoholism with no escape. My life was bleak. All of these things, it was a living hell until Jesus stepped into my life and I accepted him and I gave control of my life over to God, right? Now my life is very much like heaven on earth, right? It's full of joy. It's full of enthusiasm, of purpose, right? Life still has its struggles, but even in the midst of those, there's happiness, there's certainty that God's in control, that he's got planned for it, he has a purpose for my life, and I just live that out to the best of my ability, right? So for me, from that perspective, there is very literal rescue from hell in the here and now, in the today. And, all that stuff that happens after death, I don't know. I'll find out when I get there.
Today you have a choice. Are you choosing to move towards Jesus or away? For James and Aaron, I'm Aaron.
I'm James.
I'm going to push James to his death now. Oh, cool. Sorry. I just broke my finger on your dentures.